Wyoming. Heard of it? It is home to only a handful of Muslims. They opened their first mosque at the end of last year and now say they face intimidation and a lack of acceptance. Al Jazeera's Tristan Autone has more.
We had a new mosque open in town. There'd never been one in the history of Gillette, and people contacted me through the militia group I belong to.
When Brett Colvin's almost all-white, predominantly Christian hometown of Gillette, Wyoming, had its first mosque open in late 2015, he started a Facebook page called Stop Islam in Gillette. It soon attracted 400 members who shared his views that the mosque would foster Islamic radicalism and incite terrorism.
The issue with the mosque is we didn't know who was behind it, who was in it, where it came from.
The Khan family is in a converted house. They make up almost all the Muslims in Gillette, some 30 in all, in a town of about 31,000.
We wanted a place for everybody to gather and pray, and also for kids eventually to get taught some Islamic scripture and things like that.
The Khans own a small hotel empire headed by Aftab Khan. They run 15 in Gillette and 30 more around the region. The family's roots are in Pakistan, but the Khan name has been in Wyoming since 1906. None of that seemed to matter when protesters, led by Brett Colvin, demonstrated outside the mosque.
They thought that this mosque was going to lead to 2,000 Syrian refugees moving into Gillette, and that the culture was going to change in Gillette. People were going to be wearing burqas everywhere, and we were going to force Sharia law onto Gillette. Those kind of ridiculous things is part of the reason why some of the people panicked.
Oh, on some level that's problematic because everybody's talking about just your family, correct?
Yeah, because they think Muslims in Gillette, and then our family are the Muslims in Gillette.
At one of his hotels, Aftab says law enforcement is now involved.
We did have an FBI agent come to Gillette and just to interview me. They were more concerned about the threats directed against us.
What was the most serious threat that you received?
Well, that we would be eliminated. His words were that you guys are being watched and that you'll be eliminated at some point. It was the first day of the protest. And then he had also kind of intimated that he had scopes trained on the mosque.
Aftab Khan shared screenshots of the anti-Islam, anti-mosque Facebook pages with federal authorities. The comments suggest vandalism and hint at violence. One user wrote, "My husband and I threw a bunch of raw bacon at it a couple of days ago. Hope they don't have a new favorite pastime." Another said these Muslim maggots need to be gut shot. Colvin brushes off the threats.
Well, that's the nature of the internet, isn't it? A lot of people like to be keyboard warriors and talk crap on the internet that they'll never back up in real life in any fashion or form.
The controversy divided Gillette, and the mayor stepped in to condemn the anti-Muslim attitudes fueled by Colvin, as well as terrorist shootings at Paris and San Bernardino, California.
I think it's just fear. The San Bernardino had just happened, and I think people were just scared that it could happen here.
Mayor Louise Carter King issued a statement. Neither threats nor declarations of hate would be tolerated in Gillette. Do you think there's any political risk to you for showing this kind of support?
If there is, I don't care. You know, it's the right thing to do.
Brett Colvin could not keep Muslims out of Gillette, so he has a new goal: prevent Syrian refugees from ever settling here. And in the meantime, he'll keep an eye on the mosque.
They have their rights to have their mosque and practice their religion guaranteed under the Bill of Rights and the Constitution of the United States. I personally don't violate that right any more than I'd want them stomping into the Catholic Church that I attend and raising a stink and trying to shut my church down. Should they start radicalizing at their mosque, that may be a different story.
The Khan family says their mosque will remain open and are not afraid of threats. Tristan Autone, Al Jazeera,